What's going on, folks? This is Coach Marcus, Pro Fan Talk. Let's get right to it. We are still dealing with the aftermath of the Super Bowl loss. It is what it is. And one of the things that I want to go over right off the bat, man, what is up with all of these Eagles fans all of a sudden turning into the 40 whiner fans? With the play call, with the bad call at the end of the game. Yes, it was a bad call. It was the right call, but it was just not the right time to call it. Ultimately, normally when you call a game, as that Super Bowl went, there weren't many calls going on like that. So you're calling a loose game. You're letting the guys play through it. As long as it's nothing egregious or just off the wall. Very similar to that play, I believe it was the Saints and the Vikings. There was a pass interference that wasn't called, and it was egregious. The guy was on his back, and like it was like that. That's not the call to miss. This is a different situation. That was not an egregious call, and more importantly, there was no way he was going to catch that ball. But I'm not bitching about that call. That call didn't cost us the game. That call that maybe would have saved another opportunity for Jalen Hurts to get his hands on the ball, and who knows what happens. But that is not why we lost the game, so I'm not crying about that, and I wish the Eagles would stop crying. Eagles fans would stop crying about that. As an Eagles fan, we went toe-to-toe. This is how I look at it. We went toe-to-toe with the best player in the league, the best quarterback in the league, and they won because they had the ball in their hands last. That's what it came to. And think about it like this. We've been in 2 Super Bowls. Both Super Bowls, we faced off against the best in the league. We went against Tom Brady, took his best shot and put 40 on him. We went against Patrick Mahomes, took his best shot and put 31 on him. Unfortunately, they got the ball last. They did what they had to do. And they came out on top. I'm not crying about this game, not at all. And the one thing this came out like yesterday, and I was like, y'all gotta be kidding me. Like, stop with this. This is a play where Jalen Hurts fumbles. Nobody touched him. So all of a sudden, everybody took a screenshot, and they want to say, did the refs miss a face mask? It wasn't even close to a face mask. And I'm going to show this. Watch the play. And that's what I tell people. Watch the tape. There's the fumble. And then I'm going to show it a little. I'm going to slow it down. And you'll see. I'm going to show you the screenshot everybody's taking. Right? So we're going to slow this down. I'm going to put the playback speed at 25%. Now watch. That's the screenshot people are taking from the other side. So it looks like his hand is on the face mask. He never grabs the face mask. And more importantly, the ball is gone. If you look at this right here, the ball is already loose. His hand is out here. So the face mask had nothing to do, or the phantom face mask had nothing to do with him fumbling the ball. This was Jalen Hurts' one mistake. And it was a big one. It was a big one. We should have been up by 21 going into half. But because of this, we let him tie it up. This was his one mistake. As for an otherwise stellar performance, this was his one mistake. And it was a big one. And maybe if he doesn't make this mistake, we win that game. I'll take that. He came right back, went right back down the field, and we scored. So he made up for it. But that 7 points, that could have been the difference in the game. So all of those people whining, bitch, moaning, complaining that it was a missed face mask, stop it. It was not a missed face mask. That was an unfortunate play by Jalen Hurts. He has been sound all year in securing the ball, except to this one play. Bolton was at the right place at the right time, scooped it up, got the ball, and scored. Bolton played a great game Sunday. Played a great game. So stop with all the whining, stop with all the bitching. We are not the 40 whiners. And, you know, as an Eagles fan, I know what it feels like with a loss like that. But like, stop with the bitching and moaning. That was not a face mask, and quit with that. We don't roll like that. We don't roll like that. So let's keep it moving. You got a lot of stuff going on today. Of course, Shane Steichen signs with the Colts. We knew that was coming. We saw all of the hoopla and the reports and everything before the Super Bowl. So we kind of knew that was happening. It was between him and Bienemy that I thought. And for some reason, I just never thought Bienemy was in the mix. Honestly, I just think that they'd be throwing the names out there just so that they don't get hit with the arched eyebrows of how come there's no black candidates in the mix. I don't think they ever wanted Bienemy. I don't know what maybe one day the story's going to come out about what the situation is with Eric Bienemy. I don't understand it. Anybody else in that situation, especially with the backing of Andy Reid, would have had a job. The only thing I can think of is he doesn't want to go anywhere else, because when Andy Reid finally hangs it up, they can hand Bienemy the keys. That's what I thought. So, but in any case, you got Steichen here in Indianapolis. We'll see what he's going to do. He's going to be a good coach. Sometimes I think his play calling variety gets a little bit limited. I mean, how many times are we going to see the screen pass to the left and right? Excuse me. Everybody knows it's coming. And sometimes it seems like he limits himself. But for the most part, he helped take Jalen Hurts to the next level. And you can't short him for that. Because if you look at where Jalen Hurts was last year, you take in all the work he did in the offseason, then him and Steichen get together, and they make some magic happen this year, all the way to the Super Bowl, and heck, 90 seconds away from winning it. So that Super Bowl loss is not on Steichen. Steichen did what he had to do. We put up plus 30 on the Chiefs. They just put up a little bit more. So Steichen's going to be a good hire. It'll be interesting to see when all the dust settles, who else is coming with him. If he's going to bring anybody else from the Eagles, or is he cherry picking from amongst the league to fill up his staff? Who's he going to keep that's already in Indy? So also I want to see what but how is everybody going to look at Jeff Saturday after all of this? Because I know he's going to be, are they going to bring him back in the booth? After all of this mess and that fiasco? I don't know. This is interesting. But that'll be one to watch. Who's going to be his quarterback next year? It ain't going to be Matt Ryan, I don't think. So, we'll be watching that. We'll definitely be watching that. Johnathan Gannon is his situation is weird, because you ain't heard a peep from him since the game. I didn't see much from his post-game presser. He hasn't really said much because the heat is on, because that was a god-awful defensive performance in that game. The turf was just god-awful. Both teams were on skates. So that kind of evened itself out, but we got no pressure on the quarterback. We did not do any type of press coverage on Kelsey or any other of those receivers that we shouldn't have been scared of. And Kansas City pressed our receivers. Didn't really work, but it couldn't have been, as far as we're concerned, it couldn't have been much worse than it was, because we couldn't stop Kelsey. And they ran the ball pretty effectively. And I saw a couple of tweets today talking about Kansas City exposed the Eagles' defense for the frauds they were. And I'm like, clearly y'all not watching the games. Our run defense has been suspect all year. We were up and down all year. We hold King Henry to 30 yards, and then Damian Pierce rips us. So we were all over the place with that. And we knew that was one of our struggles all year. That's one of the main things we would complain about. Our run defense was suspect at best. And then when we got Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh, it got better towards the latter half of the year. So, but even with that, we were still up and down. So, but that's just people that want to bitch about the Eagles and mad that we made it to the Super Bowl and they didn't. So the minute we lost, everybody's laughing and, see, y'all didn't make it. And it's like, oh, we can live with that. But at least we had an opportunity to lose the game. You didn't even make it. So again, stop all the whining. And again, back to our Eagles fans, we don't do that. So stop with all of the bitch moaning and complaining about what calls we didn't get. Because now some of y'all out there starting to sound like San Francisco fans and Dallas fans. And we ain't rolling like that. So stop it. Haven't heard much from Gannon though. Not much. I got to look up, see if there's anything else, but he hasn't really said much. It looks like he might be in Arizona. And I'm like, yeah, you should have stayed down there because you left your defense hanging out there. That scheme was, oof. Anyways, so we'll see what's going on with that. I think the Eagles have some good assistant coaches that will be ready to step in and step up if need be. I think Tracy Rocker should just fit right in as defensive coordinator. I think that would be great. Maybe have somebody a little bit more aggressive and see what we can do. And again, it's hard to complain about Gannon minus that Super Bowl performance because Gannon's defense kept us, kept everything together pretty much in spite of everything that we were bitching about. I mean, not blitzing enough and not enough pressure and all of that kind of stuff for every game during the year. That's what it was. It just in the Super Bowl, we did not make the right adjustments at all, and we lost that chess match big time. So we'll see what's going to happen, man. Some stuff on Andy Reid. His thoughts on Bienemy. One day there's going to be a 30 for 30 about Eric Bienemy and why he's not getting any opportunities. At first I was like, is he? Because I heard a couple years ago it was some people on the talk shows and on the podcast circuit that were ripping into Eric Bienemy. Like they didn't like him. A couple of ex-players were saying, y'all know why he is not getting any head coaching jobs. And I'm like, okay, but there's a lot of people, a lot of head coaches and head coaching candidates that people don't like. There's a lot of coaches out there that are not very good persons. They just don't have that personality. So I don't know. At the end of the day, if you win it, you win it. And if it was anybody else in that situation, and you can say it, if it was any other white coach in that situation, they would at least be getting the opportunities. So it seems weird. Maybe we'll eventually find out because he's always had the backing and the promotion of Andy Reid. So now he might get a situation somewhere else because it looks like he's at the end of his contract. So he's looking for another job. I don't know. I think KC would probably keep him. But my thing is like, why would you go anywhere else for anything less than a head coaching gig? If you're going to stay a coordinator, stay with Kansas City. You got another shot to win it next year. Keep getting them rings. So I don't know. There's a lot of talk that he might be in the mix for Lamar in Baltimore. We'll see. We'll see. I wouldn't mind seeing him over there, but I just want to see him in a situation where he can succeed. So Eric Bienemy has requested to interview for the Ravens offensive coordinator position. Could he help keep Lamar in Baltimore? That's a very good question. Lamar has put himself in a very interesting situation. Because now you look at all of these players that left their situation, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. You look at these guys that left a good situation and went after the bag. And it hasn't ended well for them. Especially down in – Las Vegas with Devontae Adams. You don't know what the hell's going on there. So there's a big carousel going on. Who's going to get David Carr? Who's going to get Aaron Rodgers? It looks like the New York Jets are first in line for those two players. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. It'll be very interesting to see that. So, you know, I don't know. It's a lot of stuff going on. This coaching carousel is moving very quickly. So that leaves us plenty to talk about on the show on Thursday and on Morning Coffee Thursday morning. Still going to be a lot of stuff going on. So stay tuned. I still will be covering the ins and outs of what's going on in the league. I'm going to have some XFL coverage and the USFL coverage when it comes out. Because, hey, if it's football, it's football. Let's keep it moving. So, keep your antennas up. There's going to be a lot of other stuff coming very, very soon. And we'll see. Do me a favor. Smash that like button. Please, please, please join my squad and give me that subscribe. And we can keep this thing moving. Have a good one. Go Birds.